Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the January 22nd, 2026 Board of Selectmen meeting, both in Zoom and in person. Thank you all for being here, and as always, we will start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 9th, 2026?
Lauren Rabin, so moved.
Rachel Khanna, second.
All those in favor, Fred Camillo's a yes.
Lauren Rabin, yes.
Rachel Khanna's a yes.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of January 9th, 2026?
Lauren Rabin, so moved.
Rachel Khanna's a second.
All those in favor, Fred Camillo's a yes.
Lauren Rabin is yes.
Rachel Khanna's a yes.
And finally, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting of January 13th, 2026?
Lauren Rabin, so moved.
Rachel Khanna's a second.
All those in favor, Fred Camillo's a yes.
Lauren Rabin, yes.
Rachel Khanna's a yes.
Okay, thank you. For Selectmen's updates, I want to thank Selectwoman Lauren Rabin for pinch hitting yesterday for me when I was under anesthesia for a few hours, and as acting for Selectwoman. As always, she does a great job, and town's always in good hands with Lauren. Also, I want to start, again, mention that something that my predecessors always mentioned at Board of Selectmen meeting is that this is a public meeting, not a public hearing. So the discretion is for the first selectman to acknowledge people who want to speak. As we've done for 6 years, we let everybody speak, right? Unfortunately, the new board member up here put something out political this past week, I believe. Someone sent it and said it was out from the DTC that we don't allow people to speak, and pointed to one person who has disrupted meetings, who has been asked to leave a meeting, who has harassed town employees with vexatious requests for FOI information. That's Freedom of Information requests. Has cost us God knows how much time and money, and has harassed department heads and employees. So I will stand up for them at every turn. And if someone ever gets political with the business of this town, I will call them out on that. So it's unfortunate that I have to say that, but for 6 years we've been very transparent. And that's one of the things we're very, very proud of. We're very open. We've actually had public hearings. But we do encourage people to come and speak and sign up as long as they follow protocol and they're not disruptive and they treat people with respect. That will continue to be the policy of this administration. So thank you. We have a storm update. I spoke with Emergency Operations Director Joe Lasella again this morning. Joe's terrific. He stays on top of all this stuff. We have an emergency meeting at 1 o'clock. Unfortunately, the Board of Selectmen has a special meeting. So I'm going to circle back with Joe after. I will get the information out to the public, as will Joe. So we get it. The public will have 2 shots at getting this information. But briefly, we're expecting 6 to 12 inches. It falls between a severe storm and a historic storm. I hope it's not the latter, but we could get up to between 12 and 14 inches. Again, we've had that many times before, but the wind chill is going to make it, and the freezing temperatures are going to make it an issue, particularly down south where they're not used to this. They're looking at an inch of ice, and a quarter inch of ice can break trees, and has. So that goes down to, like, I believe, South Georgia. So we're praying for them, and we'll certainly keep everybody abreast throughout the weekend. So please also note that we have the Margonaut Heating Center at the Public Safety Complex, as well as the libraries and other places that we put out in the weekly e-blast, and we'll get it out on social media again. So again, please be safe, and if you have a neighbor that's alone, please check on them. We do a good job there. I think Greenwich is a very caring community, but it's always a good thing to remember that not everybody has somebody there watching them. So if you could do that, that would be terrific. I continue working on the first Selectmen's budget presentation, which I will present next week on the 27th. I want to thank Kate Bush and Wendy Zhao for helping, doing a lot of work with that. But we're very excited with that. I'm working with the BET to get these projects done quicker, but to keep our taxes the lowest, basically, in the state of Connecticut. Great news, Arch Street Task Force. I've gotten most of the names that I am going to appoint to this task force. I will be going public with it next week, but it is very, like all the task forces that we've put together in the last 6 years, it's very well-rounded, well-represented, and our past task forces have, one of them saved us several $100 million over at the bottom of the avenue, and did a great job. And that's just an example. Those are all volunteers, people who come with skill sets and donate their time and expertise for their fellow citizens. So, and just like that, and the Havemeyer and the Rink task forces, I thank these people for stepping forward. But I will be announcing that in a few days. I will be doing a ceremony at Greenwich Hospital, the wall-breaking ceremony for the new Smilo Cancer Center. That's on the 28th. I believe it's 2 o'clock, Ken, right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so that should be a very exciting milestone for the Greenwich Hospital. And those of us who have a history there, going back a lot of years. It's been a busy few weeks here in town. I met with the credit rating agencies and went very well. Should be getting the results of that shortly, but went very well. Greenwich is very well fiscally positioned. I think probably the other 168 municipalities would love to have that, to be in that position. So thank you for the finance department and Joan Lynch and everybody who helped with that. It was a good meeting. We had the honor again of honoring the 5 teams that became state champions. So Greenwich continues what I call Titletown CT. I presented, I think it was 177 certificates the other day at the high school in front of a lot of really proud parents and teachers and coaches. So it's great to return to the alma mater and to see all of these championship teams. We've always had great athletes in Greenwich, but we've never had this many championship teams, which is amazing. A few years ago, we had about 19 or 20 state, regional, and even national championships, which is unbelievable. So I think that was a state record. So congratulations to all of our student athletes. I did a brief state of the town address at the Greenwich Realtors Friday at the Greenwich Country Club. That went well. And they're certainly concerned about some of the ongoings and a little bit south of us in the city, but they're prepared. We're starting to get a lot of people inquiring about housing here in Greenwich and Fairfield County. So that's something to keep an eye on. And the forecast for the real estate market is pretty good, pretty robust for the next 12 months, according to the expert that they had speaking there. Also, Saturday night, I had a chance to go to what was supposed to be the annual inspection dinner for the Coscow Volunteer Fire Department. Ended up being a dinner, and just want to give a shout out to the Coscow Volunteer Fire Department and their 105th year of operation of protecting us. And next year, the Coscow Fire Police Patrol, of which I'm honored to be an associate member, will celebrate their 100th. And the Coscow Fire Police Patrol, for people who don't know, is known as the best fire police patrol in the country. When I wrote the bill that got passed in Hartford in 2011, the Volunteer Protection and Indemnification Act, which gives Connecticut the strongest volunteer protection law in the country. Everybody who testified up there, who was a member of a fire police association or organization, talked about Coscow being the #1 company that they all look up to. So it's really such an honor to be in a town with so many great first responders. And tonight, I will be speaking, giving a very short State of Town address at the Riverside Association's annual meeting. And I did, before I turn it over to Lauren, received a nice note from the State of Connecticut Military Department. Dear First Selectman Camillo, I am writing to express our sincere gratitude to you and the town of Greenwich for proclaiming Saturday, December 13th, 2025 as National Guard Day. The flag raising and proclamation ceremony on the steps of Town Hall was a wonderful and fitting tribute to the men and women of the National Guard on our birthday. It's heartening to see our community come together to recognize the dedication, sacrifice, and service of our citizen soldiers. Your public acknowledgement of their contributions on the National Guard's 389th birthday is a meaningful gesture and does not go unnoticed. Thank you for your leadership and for the special recognition of the National Guard. And I'm reading that because I want to thank the American Legion and John McCormick, who will be bringing these flag proclamation requests to us. And that is good to have an organization do it rather than individuals, because individuals come and go, right? But organizations, please God, usually they stay a lot longer. So that will ensure that these ceremonies will go on long after we're gone from this podium. So I want to thank the general for sending that. It was Major General Francis Yvonne. With that, I'll turn it over to Lauren. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks, Fred. Your report was longer than usual, so I'll try to be brief. Just to echo the comments about what was quoted in the DTC newsletter about not being transparent. I think we've shared before that that one individual does take up a lot of time. We have 64,000 residents, or 64,000 plus, and this person has monopolized a lot of meetings, sends emails at all hours of the day, on holidays. There's no sort of rest for the weary. And just in the future, Rachel, like, let's have a conversation. I don't want to see accusations in newsletters. It also reminded me of another thing about not having real leadership on sustainability. So just it echoed of campaign slogans where Fred and I were accused of being inexperienced, not real, et cetera. So I would just rather have a conversation, and this is our opportunity to do so. My update, the Riverside Building School Committee had their first organizational meeting last week. We have a chair, a vice chair, and a secretary, and we had a giggle because there was no women being chosen as secretary. So thank you, Brian, for stepping up. I went to my first Harbor Management Commission meeting last night. I'm the Board of Selectmen liaison to the Harbor Management Commission, so that was really insightful. We may be trying to apply for a grant so that we could improve our harbor management plan. There are goals in the plan, and we had feedback from Deep that without specifics in the plan, it's hard for them to enforce items that are in our plan that is just stated as a goal as opposed to being something very specific. So that was exciting to know. And I think a lot of people, the lobster bins that were in the Mianus River, there's still some debris there, and we're just waiting for some warmer weather to get those removed. And our first Riverside School Building Committee will be next Wednesday. So that process will start, and I'll start to update the team on that as well. And I too, Fred, am going to the Riverside Association tonight because there is going to be a presentation about the Riverside Elementary School renovations from students, actually.
Oh, that's nice. Well, it's usually very well attended, and it's over at St. Paul's Church for anybody that wants to attend. So thank you for your update, and good morning, Rachel.
Morning. I just want to add that I don't think that considering a resident's flag request is political. Following the flag policy that was recently enacted by the Board of Selectmen, and it clearly defines the procedures for flag raising requests from residents. But we can discuss that later. First, I'd like to recognize that January was Muslim Heritage Month, and I'd like to recognize the contributions of our Muslim residents who contribute to the strength and diversity of our community. Earlier this week, we commemorated Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. The YWCA will be hosting their annual Coretta Scott King and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. conversation this evening at the YWCA, and I hope people will attend. A few weeks ago, I attended a training for newly elected municipal officials by the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities. The training provided an overview of municipal government, municipal finance, as well as the freedom of information requirements for municipal officials. An interesting fact that I learned is that the Selectmen town meeting format is actually one of the oldest forms of municipal government that dates back to the 1600s. It's a decentralized form of government that ensures direct representation. And separately, the session on municipal finance stressed and confirmed the importance of long-term capital planning so the town can be prepared for the future. So I'm looking forward to hearing the BT's First Selectman's presentation next week to the BT and to all the work that the BT is going to be doing going forward. One thing I also wanted to note is that on Monday, the RTM voted to support the recommendations of the Westchester Airport Intermunicipal Airport Master Plan Task Force. I think it's really important to make sure that Greenwich has a seat at the table during the discussions of the airport's forthcoming master plan and RFP for increased operations and infrastructure, because so many of our neighborhoods are affected by the airport, particularly the western part of Greenwich. And in addition to noise and traffic concerns, there are perhaps more important concerns of air pollution, stormwater impact, as well as water quality. And we know that in the past, airport operations have contaminated groundwater over the years with high levels of PFAS and other toxic chemicals. So I think that was really important. The Old Greenwich School Building Committee is continuing its work. They recently asked for an interim appropriation, which was approved by the BET Budget Committee, and then earlier this week by the full BET. The RTM is going to have a special meeting in February to vote on the interim, and the plan is to start work during April break. Speaking of the BET, as the First Selectman noted, he will be presenting the budget next week on the 27th, and then that is an opportunity for people to testify. People can come here at 6 p.m., sign up to testify in person. People can also attend via Zoom and register to speak by noon that day, or they can submit comments by email. I think the deadline is the 26th at midnight. And I also want to remind everybody about the cold weather. The governor has activated a cold weather protocol because we're expected to have single-digit temperatures this weekend, as well as the snowstorm. So please be careful, look out for your neighbors. And if anyone is in need of shelter or warming centers, you can visit 211ct.org or call 211. Thank you.
Thank you, and good point on the report that about Westchester Airport. I want to thank again Rich Flood and John Mastracchio, who I appointed to represent the town there. We have a very good relationship with Westchester County and the County Executive's Office, and they certainly have, everything is within their jurisdiction. They don't have to listen to us, but they do invite us to these things, and we do have a good rapport with them. So it's very, very important that relationship continues. What George Latimer, who's now a congressman, started that great relationship, and Ken Jenkins certainly continuing that. So we look forward to working with them on all things related to that airport, which is basically in Greenwich, and we love the convenience of it, but we just have to monitor things and keep the lines of communication open. So thank you. All right, going on to old business. We have Deputy Chief James Bonney is here, who's also Director of Parking Services. And this is the first of his presentations today.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chief.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Today, we're here to talk about Steamboat Road again. We had this a couple months ago when we went to went through the first request. After having discussions with all of the people that were at the last meeting and reconsidering our request, we kind of made a little more of a broad stroke to the request that we're making. And basically, what we're doing is we're going to, if you look at the diagram here that's in your paperwork, the area south of where it says parking will be allowed, south of that, all the way to the extent of the end of the road is going to be no parking. So that will address all of the concerns of the people that were here that were having trouble getting out of their driveway. And as we went down the road, There was some sporadic signage that was really confusing. And there was a no parking area, and then right in the middle of the no parking area, it said no parking this side of sign. But so some of the signs didn't make sense. We're just gonna make it no parking down the whole road. On the east side of the road, there's a very narrow lane there as it is with a curb line. So if you were to park in the road, you would block the whole lane, and it's just unsafe. There are some private residences that have, like driveway, gravel areas on the town's right-of-way that they've been parking in, and we're okay with that. That's, as long as they don't go on the cement and park in the actual lane, that's what we plan on enforcing. So we're basically, if you look at the request, the end sum of it is just to make it no parking past where, south of that 2-hour parking area that's across from General Rebuilding over there.
And just so people who may not be familiar with the area are looking at this and may get confused, where Minero's was, the parking lot next to that, we're talking south of that.
Yeah, so you could park where the old parking lot for Minero's was, that's all 2-hour parking.
Yeah.
But the first residence south of that, from that resident on, there's actually a buffer of like 15 or 20 feet prior to the residence, so. But from that area on, there's no parking on that side of the street. And that'll clean up the mess that's there now. I mean, there was some signs that were placed that weren't put in the town ordinances, so this will just fix everything. And we're just gonna make it no parking down the whole road. I don't think anyone would have a complaint because you're not really supposed to be parking there now. But if anyone wants to talk about it, I'm free, yes.
Sorry, because I wasn't here when you first presented it, could you take a step back and
Yeah,
sort
so
of brief me
originally,
on, bring me up to speed on?
If you look at that, if you look at the picture, where it says, hold on a minute, I got too much paper here. There's an area on the photograph where it says 2-hour parking, it's in green. If you look to the area, there's a couple residences there in a condo complex where if you look at it, it's like, it's got a blue circle, a blue square around it. So the people that live there have a hard time getting out, and the one just south of that have a hard time getting out because of the sight line looking south. So cars are coming north, and they weren't able to see clearly if they were free to go.
Okay.
So we had, the original one was to kick back the parking south of that area by 15 or 20 feet. But after going back there and looking at it again, we decided that we're just gonna eliminate all the parking. So it's only gonna eliminate like 3 spots that had previously been there, but from a sightline perspective, was probably not safe to have. And the problem where people were parking big trucks there, and people trying to get out of the driveway. The real issue is that the condo, the driveway comes up a slope and ends at the street. So you're really low below grade, so you can't see over the cars.
Right.
So it's totally blind, so that's why we decided just remove them. And that's what everyone was here about, basically.
Yeah.
Was that they thought it was dangerous because they couldn't get out of their driveway. So we agree. So we're gonna fix it. And that's the best we can do.
Yeah, so thank you for doing that. And a lot of these things, for people who may be listening, a lot of these things are just cleanups. We have, as you said, there's some signs don't make sense. Sometimes they're in conflict with others. Sometimes the ordinance doesn't match up with the signage. And until people bring it sometimes to our attention, it goes unnoticed. So we appreciate the people on Steamboat Road who came forward a few weeks ago and to let us know about the situation there so you could look into it and clean it up.
Right, so, I made it my mission here is that if there's a parking situation that comes to my attention, it's gonna be put in the town ordinances like it's supposed to be. And sometimes we run into signs that were placed without being put in the town ordinances by other people, and, if we run into that, we try to fix it. We're not looking around for mistakes because there's probably thousands of them, but we try to do the ones that are concerning the citizens the most. And as we roll through our issues, we'll fix them. I mean, there's probably some signs that no one thinks are wrong that aren't in the code. I don't know where they are, but I'm not worried about those. I'm worried about the ones that impact the public, so we're trying to make everyone safe.
At some point, somebody will have an issue and they'll bring it to your
Yeah,
attention.
yeah, no, trust me, I got a lot of issues.
Well, thank you, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Okay.
So Lauren Raven, I motion that we approve the request for amendment to traffic ordinance Schedule 1B, parking, stopping, or standing prohibited, Schedule I, parking prohibited, and Schedule 4, 2-hour parking timed.
Rachel Khan, I second the motion.
All those in favor, Fred Camillo is a yes.
Lauren Raven is a yes.
Rachel Khan is a yes.
Okay, thanks, chief. Okay, and thank you to the residents who came forward and are here today, so thank you. Second on the list of old business is a request to approve the 2026 Town of Greenwich State slate of approved flag raisings. And Ken Borsick.
Yep, no changes from the first read. We have heard from several people who are anxious to see their flags approved that are on the slate, and we're happy to give them the go-ahead if this is approved. As you mentioned, we are working with John McCormick at the Legion for the organization of the events for the Vietnam Veterans Day coming up in March, and then, the Army, National Guard, Marines, Navy, that sort of thing. So I think there's going to be a lot more contributions from the veterans organizations in town. We're going to make it very broad so everyone can get involved and really publicize it. So I think it should be a big event this year.
No, thank you. I think it's a it's a great way to do this, to have an organization there that will continue to do that, and it will make sure. I think it'll make sure that these things are always done and acknowledged. So
I had a few questions for Laura, because we had a conversation, and I just wanted to, clarify a few things, because we spoke about
Good morning.
the months. Good morning. So when something is identified as a month, and not necessarily a date, it's sort of a placeholder for an organization to sort of adopt.
Yes, if I may, I know that, there are certain, months, for instance, October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. My understanding from past practice is to allow this for a slate of flags. So say it's, the American Cancer Society that wants to come in and commemorate on a day, they still need to go through the logistical request of filing a request with the first selectman's office to ask for a date, but doesn't need to come for the first and second read. So I think that it's really a placeholder for a slate of flags, recognizing that the town for local government speech approves and endorses and supports breast cancer awareness. And I guess that would also be the same, February's passed, but on there as well. So when there's a month, or Red Cross month, March, right? So the American Red Cross local chapter wants to do something, they still, otherwise, it's just there listed, and there's no actual flag raising or commemoration unless somebody steps forward to execute, to observe a specific date on Red Cross month.
Right,
I think that
okay.
was the intention, so that the American Red Cross chapter doesn't have to come in and do 2 reads and do the 30 days in advance to say, yes, this is something the town has endorsed in the past and supports. But
Right.
somebody, again, needs to carry the mantle and the torch on that.
And, to that point, should we be listing the organizations that are responsible for this specific, who have done so in the past, or,
Well, I don't know necessarily
ownership?
as the slate of dates.
we know that
but-
already, so Ken
Yeah,
has that already.
Yeah.
Okay, but should we put it, I know this is going to be made public.
Yeah, go through, just, go through Laura, so we
Okay,
don't
so
have
I'm
a.
sorry.
It's okay.
So, Laura, when we make this available on the website, should we be listing as well the organizations who have ownership of the, I say ownership, but, or who are responsible for that specific flag raising, just so, there's no confusion or?
Right, well, my understanding, and correct on the administration, is that once a slate of flags is approved, it goes on the town public website, right, posted by Ken. But then I think if there is a specific date, or somebody is gonna, or this does say March 2nd, and the group, that would be listed on the website.
Okay.
I presume
In terms
that
of
to be
the
case.
organizations, we haven't done that in the past, listed them. There's nothing preventing us from doing it, but I mean, we just haven't done that in the past. No one's asked for that in the past, so.
Okay, I'm just, to ensure that,
Yeah, I think that's
clarity, I
more
guess,
of, right, just a mechanical administrative function, if anybody wants to know.
Because the
Yeah.
slate will go up, it has been up on the website, and once we have these dates finalized, they will go up on the town calendar on the website, saying the flag raising will be this date at 10 a.m. and that sort of thing.
right.
And just to be clear, to make sure that even though, just because it's on the website, doesn't mean that we're responsible. That organization or the person has to come forward, because that was the one thing we were worried about with this, because when we used to do 8 flag raisings, and since I was a little boy, I would come to them here. The organizations took care of it. The St. Lawrence Club did the Italian flag. The Hibernians did the Irish flag. But they would come to the town, and the person, the former Selectwoman McGuigan was concerned about, putting too much stress on employees to have to remember all this stuff. So we wanted to make sure that we put it up there, but it is the responsibility of those who request these to come and to remind us. And all you have to do is say, hey, we're going to be there on March 8th for the Yankee flag raising or whatever it is, and then, yes, we'd like a proclamation from the first selectman, and absolutely, so we do that. But they just have to remind us, and they usually do, no one misses it.
And that was
I've been
the
in contact with
catalyst.
all of these groups, and everyone's on the same page.
Yeah,
Right.
they never miss.
And I should just add, that was a catalyst for one of the changes to the policy last year to provide a little bit more on the mechanics of it, so that if, the fact it's listed on the calendar, an approved slate of flags, if somebody wants to actually implement it, there needs to be a request at least a week ahead to the Office of First Selectman, and request if a proclamation is requested as well.
And just to clarify on the request, that currently it's just an email to Ken or the Board of Selectmen?
Correct.
They're an application form.
No, it's an email, they can send one to the board or to me.
Okay. Okay. And what if there's a flag raising, but there's no, like, that organization or so doesn't have a specific flag, like, I'm thinking D-Day. There's no specific D-Day flag, so how does that work?
That may just be that's about, I believe there was a commemorative flag used in the past 2 years ago.
Okay.
But, that's something we'll coordinate with the Legion on.
Okay.
and-
Yeah, it's the requester that's responsible for it, not the
exactly.
town. But in this case, because it's the American Legion, we know it's going to be taken care of, and we have a great relationship, and we talk to the members there, whether it's Peter or John, a lot. So, yeah.
Right, and the proponent is responsible for providing the flag for a raising in the event the town does not already have it in its coffers.
Yes.
And the proponent is also responsible if, for instance, there's a flag raising, I know we raise the flag for 3 days, right? And so if there's a flag raising 2 days prior or 2 days post, they're responsible for sort of figuring out what date they want, knowing that, or do we raise?
I've been in contact with these groups. I've let them know what days. It doesn't have to be 3 days. We can do it for a maximum of 3 days, but it doesn't have to, because the other people know, okay, there's going to be something the next day, so they understand. Like, I've already coordinated with, Greenwich Pride and that sort of thing, so they understand what the schedule's going to be and how all of this is going to work, so everyone's going to be on the same page.
Right, so it's the responsibility of the proponent to then say, I want my flag up for 3 days, therefore I won't do it on this day because it might interfere with
Yes.
another flag.
They understand
Okay.
that.
Right, I was just looking at dates, but I presume, the policy says, typically or usually for a 3-day period, but obviously if there's something intervening, that would be coordinated at the time of the request through the First Selectman's office.
Right, because I see that June, we have a couple of overlaps.
That's going to be a busy month.
Yeah. And potentially July as well, but, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Further questions? Sure, thank you.
Thank you, and I want to thank Laura for putting in so much time on this. it wasn't easy, and we never had this problem before. And we've had so many requests, and some we have, we haven't approved all of them, but most of them. And you really guided us with this, so
Well, yes, I think it's important that the town has a written policy. It needs to be sanctioned government speech, as opposed to personal, individual First Amendment rights. So again, written policy, it sanctions and then endorsed by the Board of Selectmen. Thank you.
thank you. Okay.
Lauren Raven, I motion that we approve the 2026 Town of Greenwich slate of flag raising as presented in our packet.
Rachel Khanna, second the motion.
All those in favor, Fred Camillo's a yes?
Lauren Raven is a yes.
Rachel Khanna's a yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Going on to new business. The chief is back up for a request for an amendment for traffic ordinance Schedule 4, 2-hour parking timed, God bless you, timed, and he will give the details on this one.
Okay, so on Lachlan Avenue in Coscob, when you, if you pull off of Strickland Road onto Lachlan Avenue, there's some houses on the immediate right side. They're older houses. Some don't have driveways. And what we've seen is that some commercial businesses, employees have been parking on Lachlan Avenue. I've attached a study in there where we did a study. Up to 14 of them on rainy days are parking in front of these houses and in front of the park. I don't have much control of the people that are parking in front of the park.
Thank you.
But the people that live in the houses there are having a hard time parking in front of their houses when they have to pass 14 cars and, park a couple hundred yards down the street in the rain and they have little kids. So what we have proposed is that, and if you look at the pictures that's attached to this, there's an area between Strickland and the park that we'd like to make 2-hour parking. And the hours would be from 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday. We have a very good idea who the specific business is that's parking their vehicles on this residential street. But as far as the parking services are concerned, we don't have really the ability to tell them not to park there. They're in legal parking spots. But if we make this area 2-hour parking, then they won't be able to dump their cars there for 8 hours a day. So at least we'll clear it up for the people that live in those houses there, that they'll be able to stop in front of their house and park there and pick their kids up or do whatever they need to do. There was a discussion about residential parking zones, but it's a small little area. It's close to a park, and it's a difficult situation there. So we felt that the 2-hour parking would probably be the most appropriate. We spoke to a lot of the people in the area there, and they seem to agree. So that's the proposal, just to make that one area in front of their houses there 2-hour parking.
Thank you, Chief. So this is on this agenda because some of the residents who I know pretty well there have been calling me for months about this.
Oh, yeah.
And the chief is right. I mean, if we did a residential parking permit program, it's so close to meaning that only people who live there with a permit could park there. We have lots of baseball games and now soccer games at Lachlan Avenue, and that would run into a problem there. So this is a happy medium. This is really, I think, a good step forward. And for people who out there may say, well, how do you know, they're not parking there 6 or 7 or 8 hours? If it's 2 hours, you're going to check it. The department does check. And they can mark a tire just to make sure, as far as timing goes. That's been going on for a long time. It's a way to monitor situations in various areas. So I know the residents would be very, very happy. And I know they were very, very happy that you were looking into this. So thank you.
Okay, and, if this doesn't work out, we could always adjust later. But I talked to some of the zoning people about these, vehicles of employees on the post road parking there. And obviously, one day there was 14 of them in the pouring rain, so they're not going to the park. There's really not much we can do about it, at least from my position here. Maybe the town has the ability to change something in the zoning about these businesses, requiring them to have their employees park on their own property. But I could see this being an issue if all the surrounding streets are just filled with people that are working at different businesses, and especially in front of the park, they're gonna be 14 cars. Now, if these 14 cars just move down the street and block in the park, then no one's gonna be able to use the park. So
Yeah.
it's an issue.
And it's only, when you go on to, turn on the Locken Avenue from Strickland, you're talking maybe 5 or 6 houses on the right
Right,
and
right.
about that same on the left. And there's not much room there. And so these people, that's their homes. And
Yeah.
if, if they want to have people over, during the day or something happens, they can't. And so I think this is a good start here, and we'll, I think, monitor, as you said, and if we have to adjust, we'll adjust.
I try to make as many people happy as possible. You can never make everyone happy, but we'll try our best.
Never.
Never, never, never.
Any questions for the chief?
We have one member of the public who is raising their hand. They have not signed up in advance, but it's Tracy Bosco.
Yeah, let Tracy, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, going forward, people just have to sign up, but Tracy is one of the neighbors there and who has had to endure this.
Okay.
Good morning, Tracy.
Tracy, you're muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Hi, Tracy.
It's famous words. Hi, thank you so much for taking it, and apologies for not submitting this prior to your meeting. I appreciate it and appreciate all the attention to this, Deputy and First Selectman. I wanted to bring in, and I know the evolutions of this as you discussed, but are we able to approve this past the 203 feet that is now in the proposal, Deputy? And I know this is a point of additional consideration, but again, I think we just took video footage this morning. The park is being impeded, and I think that's my biggest thing. I'm a resident at 3 Laughlin Avenue, have been there for the last almost 13 years. It is the Toyota dealership that drives droves of their employees in vans to pick up and release, and we see this every single day. They are taking up every single spot on that park. Is there a potential to do this 2-hour parking down to that crosswalk in front of the park?
Thanks, Tracy. The crosswalk, maybe across from Maplewood or
Butler,
From
top of
Butler Street,
Well,
right to Butler Street. Yep.
I think we can certainly look at that. I mean, it's, again, we're trying to obviously protect your property rights to enjoy your house and have people there. And, if there's ever an emergency, it becomes an issue. But also the users of the park, and having 14 cars there at any given time that are just there from a business creates a problem. So, Chief, what do you think?
Well, there's those, like paddleball courts or
Pickleball.
Yeah.
pickleball courts. And
Yeah.
obviously, there's a ball field there and soccer camps they run there. So, my only concern was that I didn't want to stifle the people who are utilizing the park to make them have to move their cars every 2 hours. However, I don't know what, it's the middle of the winter. I don't know how long people spend in the park at one time. So I wasn't very comfortable putting a 2-hour limit on people that were utilizing the park. I do understand her issue, and
Yeah, maybe,
it's legit. She has a legitimate issue.
So going forward, maybe to address Tracy's point, we have the 2-hour, which we're going to vote in 2 weeks on to approve, and where Tracy lives in those houses. But from that area, beyond the houses, the last house there, I forgot the number, going over to the intersect where Butler Street begins, maybe we can do a hybrid, because really, if
Maybe
you're.
4-hour
That's what I was
parking?
going to say, because
That's
if
what I was
you're at a
thinking, too.
baseball game, it's a couple hours.
Yeah.
If you're playing pickleball, same thing, but you may be in a league. So I was going to say 3 or 4 hours, maybe that for that little stretch there to adjust, because they're not going to, those teams are not going to be there all day. So that, I think, to address Tracy's point, I don't think it would affect them that much if we just maybe adjusted time just a little bit.
I'm willing to do whatever the board wants to do. And,
We
you know,
have
I just,
4-hour parking anywhere else in town?
looking.
I
Just
don't
from
know.
like a familiarity, like
Yeah.
2 hours, everybody understands 2 hour, 2 hour, 2
I
hour.
don't know about that. There'd have to be an ordinance about it. I know there's a 2-hour ordinance, right? That, there's a 2-hour ordinance so that we're in our, in the playing field with that. I don't know about 4-hour ordinance. We have to look that up. But, I think that would be a more reasonable time constraint on people using a park. I mean, most people don't use a park for more than 4 hours, but, it would stop people from parking there every day and using it as a commercial lot. You know, and that's the last thing we want to do. And then also, once you do that, they're just probably going to swing around and park on the other side of the park. But this is the conundrum we get, and I would rather have people be forced to park on their own property rather than me have to go to every single park in town and put new signs up in front of it, you know? But
agree.
that's more of a zoning thing, I think, you know?
Yeah.
And I didn't mention who this company was, but I'm under the impression that they're doing some sort of municipal improvement and trying to
Yes.
make it bigger. Now would be the time to address that by someone,
Okay,
not us. We're not the parking.
gotcha. All right, we will circle back with zoning.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. So what's the first read? We'll take this up in 2 weeks. But Tracy, thank you very much, and we'll certainly look into your secondary concern there.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you all.
Take care.
Tracy, before you go, just so you know, the second meeting where there'll be a second read on this will not be a Zoom meeting. It'll be in person only in the Cone Room as we make way for the BET. So just if you have any other neighbors want to come in person, it will not be on Zoom in February.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. We'll look
problem.
forward to being there in person.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good one. Okay, next up is Michael Kislak, our civil engineer from the Department of Public Works, with a request for approval of the Safe Streets Greenwich Safety Action Plan and a resolution declaring Greenwich's commitment to eliminating fatal and serious injury crashes by 2040. Good morning, Michael.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thanks for having us here. So again, Michael Kislak, civil engineer with Department of Public Works. For those that don't know me, so we're here today to talk about the Safe Streets Greenwich plan and specifically the resolution that goes with it. But just for people that might not be familiar, we were awarded a $400,000 grant from Federal Highway a couple of years ago to create a comprehensive town-wide transportation safety action plan. And so we've been working hard on that the last couple of years. And we're going to have some more information coming out on the overall plan in the next month or two. And we have a lot of flexibility on what goes into that plan, and we're working hard to make sure it's Greenwich specific. But one of the requirements from Federal Highway that to be considered a qualifying plan, which would qualify us for funding in future rounds of the program for implementation money, is a commitment by town leadership to a goal of reducing and eventually eliminating serious injuries and fatalities. So in Greenwich, that would be the Board of Selectmen. Other towns, in cities, it's the mayor. So that's what we're here for. So there was one included in your packet, a resolution. It's pretty brief, and I would hope not super controversial. It sets a target date of 2040. The important thing to note is that it's goal setting. It's not committing you to any particular policy or project. It's just saying that you support the goal of traffic safety and roadway safety in general. There's nobody necessarily following up to check that it's been achieved or anything, and you're not committing to anything. It's just the goal, and then the rest of the plan that we're going to be coming out with is sort of the roadmap on how we achieve that goal. So we wanted to get this part of it squared away first, and then focus on the rest of the plan later. So that's it in a nutshell. Hopefully you had time to look at it. Would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, and I appreciate it. I mean, even though it's a first read and we'll vote on it in 2 weeks, it's not time sensitive. You know how I'm going to vote. We've made public safety and pedestrian safety one of the hallmarks of our tenure here with intersection improvements, new sidewalks, improved sidewalks, new crosswalks, and improved crosswalks, trails, new trails, miles of them, and even getting funding to investigate having new trails, which sometimes, as we're seeing in the latest one in Old Greenwich, can sometimes be controversial. But we want Greenwich to continue to be a really active town and to get people out there continuing to exercise, but to do so safely. And this certainly helps. And, stating our firm commitment to continuing to do this, I think is the right thing to do. But certainly we're going to keep in the budget and everything else in advocacy to keep promoting ways for pedestrians and cars to coexist peacefully. We have had some deaths, unfortunately, even in Greenwich. A friend of mine was, I think, the last one in central Greenwich on a rainy night, very dark, and walking his dog and got hit. And it can happen. And so sometimes things are going to happen, and it's hard to foresee it. But it's, I think, incumbent upon us to do everything we can in our power to make it safe for walkers and hikers, and joggers and bikers. So I'm good with this in 2 weeks, but I'll let my colleagues ask questions or comments.
Yeah, I just had a comment, like the last therefore, it says to eliminate. So I think that almost states the goal, because if we had 144, eliminating makes it sound like it's going to go to 0. And of course, everybody wants that, but I don't think it's possible. And like at the COG, West COG, we have similar things for like I-95 and the Merritt, et cetera. And everyone wants to eliminate it. But in our language as a COG, it was never like 100% because you just can't get to, unfortunately, 100%. So I don't know if that factors into anything. If somebody was to read this and say, you said you're going to eliminate, so that means 0.
Yeah, we tried to be intentional about that. It says strive to eliminate, which is the goal, understanding that, sometimes there are freak accidents, acts of God that do happen, but we want to try to do a little bit better every year, and that's the goal. If there's language like that you want to tweak, we're happy to do that, but we tried to
I'll look at the
give a little
West COG
flexibility.
language and see if there's anything different.
Yeah, okay.
I just wanted to clarify, this is not a complete streets plan, right? This is a Vision Zero plan.
No, it's,
Or-
Vision Zero, Complete Streets, those are sort of, you could call it that if you want, but those are sort of, Complete Streets is a separate item, and then this would be more akin to a Vision Zero, which is a
Okay.
term some people might have heard, but, I think there's an organization that technically, towns contribute to the Vision Zero network. We're not looking to join any formal network of Vision Zero communities at this point, so that's sort of a proper noun title of Vision Zero. So we're not calling it that necessarily, but it is essentially a similar goal of
Okay. And so this, signing the resolution will allow us to get further grants for implementation.
They're competitive grants, so we still have to apply and be awarded, but without this, we wouldn't be successful, at least as far as the Safe Streets for All funding pot of money.
Right. And does that inform things like lighting, or when you're doing the implementation, like traffic lighting? I know we had the conversation yesterday in the active transportation meeting about.
Yeah, there are various strategies. So we've and it's sort of across departments. So there are things in it for public works, for police, emergency services, like fire and GEMS. So then there's also, we're also looking at countermeasures that could apply context appropriately. So, signal improvements are certainly a component of that. And that'll be coming out for public comment in the next couple months on what those specific features are.
Understood. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Michael, thank you for this, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Okay, going on to the next item is a request for variance from the Town of Greenwich noise ordinance for an outdoor concert on July 18th, 2026. And Sylvia Perbolini is here from the Burning Tree Country Club.
Yeah, she's joining us over Zoom,
And I will
and,
say that that date is also the birthday of Greenwich, Connecticut,
okay, all the more reason to have a party.
July 18th. July 18th. Hi, Sylvia.
Well, good morning. Hi, good morning. I'm here with Matt, Clubhouse Manager. I'm the events director at Burning Tree Country Club. And yes, we do have a concert planned for July 18 this year. It's going to start at 6 p.m. With a DJ, and we're going to have a live band performing at 8:30 or 8. The logistics are not in plan yet, but we are requesting the noise ordinance right now permits only until 10 p.m. So we will need just one additional hour to have the event, prolonged until 11, if that's possible. It's going to be on the driving range of the golf course. So it's away, it's far from houses, and so this is our request today.
Thank you, Sylvia. Yeah, we do this for another country club every year, around the same time, I believe. Has Burning Tree done this in the past?
We have not. This is our first time.
Okay. Have you socialized this with the neighbors? Have you spoken with any? I'm sure some of them are probably members anyway, but have you?
Yes, they're all members and they're all excited. So yes, we're also planning to send out formal, communication to those that will not probably attend. So everybody will be informed that this is going to happen.
Perfect. That's terrific. Yeah, that we always ask that, and that's why we still give it 2 weeks. It's not time sensitive to vote on it in case we hear from the public, but not. We wait to hear from the public to just get the feel of what people are thinking to incorporate that in our decisions. But certainly we've done this in the past, and you seem like you're well on your way to getting all of the people in the area on board. So that's terrific.
Yeah.
I think one stipulation may be that you have to invite the Board of Selectmen to the concert. Kidding.
You will be invited for sure.
Kidding. What, that accent sounds familiar. That's, is that Calabria?
I'm from Italy, Verona.
Verona, okay. Close enough.
Yes.
Thank you, Sylvia. So we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And that one is going to be in person. So
I'll coordinate with you, Sylvia, it's Ken, I'll coordinate with you about what you need to do for that.
Amazing. Thank you, Ken.
all right. Thank you, Sylvia. Have a great day.
Thank you. You as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So we'll wait 2 weeks on that, but it looks like they've squared it away with neighbors there, but we'll give it the 2 weeks anyway. All right, the last items are all from the same person. Mr. Wold, I think, is on the.
Yes, he is. David, you're muted. Okay, great, you're not. Okay, so yes, you can now speak.
If you could-
Yeah, good morning,
Good morning.
Board of Selectmen, and thank you for allowing me to speak via Zoom. I had an unfortunate incident over at the Cohen Center on Saturday where I stepped on the path thinking it was grass underneath and there was a steel plate there, so I slipped and I'm not sure if I have a concussion and a hip damage, but we'll see. Hopefully it goes well.
Be careful and just listen to the doctors.
Yes, there is a lot of other people who give good advice, but doctors are the best. So anyway, thank you very much for allowing me to present these requests. The first one is on the 26th of February. Back in 1779, General Israel Putnam took the famous ride down Putnam Hill. And I thought in connection with the 250th anniversary that we are going through in town, it would be appropriate that we at the Sons of the American Revolution submit this request. We are back and forth on if it should be the 250th flag from the Sons of the American Revolution that should be raised, or if it should just purely be a reminder of the town flag. And that's why this one is a little special. I'm asking it purely to be raised on the flagpole it currently is on, in the morning on the 26th, and then lowered respectfully in the afternoon on February the 26th. And then it can go back up the next day and be until next flag raising. So it's
So that's the first one. So yeah, thank you. So that's
Yeah.
26 for anybody listening, that our town flag is depicted in, that is depicted in our town flag. And as I talk about every July 4th, that was not a particularly good day for Greenwich. The British ransacked the town. Well, we ultimately prevailed, but the general did get away, and he did get to Fort Stanford to warn of the British incursion from Portchester. But it really was a day, Missy Wolf has spoken about this, where Greenwich really was devastated with the damage caused. But it served as a symbol of our town and our fighting spirit. So appreciate that. And going on to the next one is the Vietnam Veterans Day, which we already have, Dave. We already have that in there.
Yeah, David, that was in the approved slate that we took care of shortly ago. And Fred, I just spoke with Roy Venega the other day, and he's going to coordinate with John and the American Legion.
Okay.
So we're going to get the Byram Vets and the Legion all on the same page with that one. So.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So so David, so the Legion is that's already been approved. So that's good. So that will be already on the list. So you can go, the next one is May 22nd for the U.S. Merchant Marines Day. Floor is yours.
Okay. Now, just to clarify, the reason why I mentioned the Vietnam Veterans Day was that my application from 2024 for the flag raising in 2025 was ignored. So I just want to make sure that it now got on the calendar.
No,
So anyway, moving on to.
yeah, it's not ignored. It's on the list. So we're good there. So going on to the Merchant Marines Day.
Yeah, Merchant Marine is purely a double effect too. It is 250 years since the Continental Army or Congress approved the Merchant Marine, and we are celebrating the three other branches of the armed forces 250th flag raisings. It's also a personal element for me because in my 35 years of being a shipbroker, I sent multiple American ships and overseas ships into various conflicts that approved by the U.S. Congress. And I feel 250 years of service within the armed forces should be celebrated in a similar way as the other branches of the armed forces.
Thank you. I would agree, and we'll take it up with the American Legion to have a formal request so they can put it on, again, on the list of all the ones they're taking care of. So appreciate that, and we'll reach out to John. And then the last one is the UN Day. But we rejected this last time, and my opinion hasn't changed on it because the UN is celebrated over at Julian Curtis, and they do a phenomenal job. I think I've seen you there in the past. So we don't want to step on that. That day gets a lot of recognition. They do a terrific job. So I'm good with allowing them to carry the ball on that one.
Yeah, I appreciate you're expressing your opinion now at the first read. But as I pointed out with these other requests, they are requests that I have submitted, and United Nations Day, as I mentioned, would be a flag raising in the morning with the children from our public schools and maybe private schools. And then the noontime celebration over at Julian Curtis, which unfortunately kids from the other public schools cannot attend. I think it would be a good recognition. I think Julian Curtis has done it for 35 years, but has never been recognized at Town Hall.
Well, thank you. Well, we do
So
recognize.
that's why I put this forward.
Thank you. Again, we'll have a second, there's a first read. My opinion has not changed at all on that because of my respect for the wonderful job that Julian Curtis does with it. And again, as you probably heard before, we're trying to be really respectful of all of our employees here at Town Hall, where we have a bunch of these flag raisings now, and the military ones I love, but where we had 8 before, we've tripled and probably quadrupled almost now. So it gets a little unwieldy, and that's the reason we're trying to keep, control on it. So in this case here, because the 3 of us, the former board of selectmen, were in unanimous agreement on that we thought the Julian Curtis event was sufficient for that. But certainly we'll take this up in 2 weeks. We appreciate your time and hope you feel better.
Yeah, also, it's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
would like to just point
presumptuous.
out that as
would
per
invite
the
other
flag
schools.
policy,
We-
requirement
we-
is
we-
that a residential person submits the application.
We know, we made the,
It is not up
David,
to,
we made,
it's not up to the Board of Selectmen to assign the flag raisings to other organizations.
David, we did the flag policy here. We're the ones that put in, and we have Attorney McGeechee is here. Again, we're not doing any, you're the only one that we have an issue with. Of all these organizations, it's always comes back to you. Unfortunately, I hate to say this when you're not feeling well, but again, you were told last year, you're trying your luck again with this, which is fine. You could request this every year. Right now, I believe, which is my personal opinion, and you saw the opinion of the 3 of us last time, so it was bipartisan, that we respect the job that the United Nations does. And certainly, we think.
I think what he's trying to say, too, is that he, as the resident, has the right to request these, organize them, et cetera, where we've moved all the military ones to a different
Yeah, I
military
heard.
organization as
Yeah.
opposed to him singularly.
But again, we're more comfortable doing it with the American Legion. These are American veterans who, as an organization, will be here long after that organization, long after, please God, that we are here. And it certainly makes a lot more sense, and it's a lot more inclusive, and it is also a lot, it's easier. It's not as chaotic as this. Again, we've had lots of issues with you in your presentations, unfortunately. You even, unfortunately, I have to bring it up. You took down a flag which you could have been arrested for, and I did not have you arrested. But you doubled down on it, and you continued what I think is the vexatious requests of constantly going back and asking for things and contradicting things. And even when you showed up in person and you didn't sign up, we told you had to sign up, you didn't, and we let you speak at all of those meetings. So again, I'm not going to debate this. We have another meeting to go to after this. So I appreciate it, and we'll take this up in 2 weeks.
I would just like to emphasize the correction I sent to Ken. This is not David Wool's application, but the Sons of the American Revolution, who was founded before the American Legion.
Understood.
Thank you.
Understood. Thank you. Feel better. Okay. Do we have any appointments and nominations?
No appointment.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Barbara, for sitting through this. And thank you, Ken. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Lauren Raven, so moved.
Rachel Khanna, second.
All those in favor? Fred Camillo's a yes.
Lauren Raven is a yes.
Rachel Khanna's a yes.
Okay, thanks, everybody. See you soon.